Yeah, as you've been recruiting around across different countries, so where would you say is the most majority of the work is going on in this future of tech space? Is there one country or certain cities that you would name that are really going at a very fast pace when it comes to mainly, say, for example, Web3 content or metaverse? So just to get some.
Not really, I suppose. I think that there's some, I suppose, from a talent point of view, I've always had great respect for developers out of Pakistan, and there's some great Web3 talent, especially some great low latency developers out of Pakistan. And I think that, India as well, of course. I'm not just saying that, but there is some fantastic blockchain talent in India, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so interested now in Polygon, for example, because I think that from a DevRel point of view, they've really captured the Indian market very, very well. And yeah, there's no real country in specific. I suppose that's the thing about Web3, it's global, it's very much inclusive.
It's a global community.
Part of it, so yeah, there's no real one location.
So as a lot of it's interesting. Like I love talking about this space, and especially like learning about it, because there is so much knowledge that you have from your experience from the last several years, and when you talk to people, you're directly involved in the project. So yeah, this space is really exciting. Now I was just thinking about when it comes to the roles, right? So there are UX designers, software developers, product managers, and there are several roles you're recruiting as well. It's a very exciting role, Owen, your role is really, really exciting. It's a cross-cultural hiring different roles and having different you need to also have different expertise to hire a certain role. And from my own understanding of this space is that there are a lot of startups currently in the market. So is there more need of developer? Do you also see there are big roles for product people? Because from my own product experience and being in this industry, I do see that as the technology is changing, the roles are going to be changing as well. So how are we filling this gap from recruiting in the traditional way that's very established to a new way of recruiting? So maybe I asked here two questions to you. So maybe let's just focus on the first one. That what is the major need right now? It's mainly focus on developers or UX designers at the moment?
Yeah, so again, so any decent developer, Solidity, Rust, Golang, will never be stuck for work. If you have a good reputation in the space, you'll be fine. And yeah, again, there's good demand for business development professionals, senior business development professionals that have a strong network within the space. And yeah, I suppose every function really is struggling. While strong developers are obviously fine, and experienced business development professionals with a deep network in the industry, they're fine as well. But it's tough for a lot of people. For example, I was speaking to a kind of a Web2 marketing leader, for use of a better term, and she's marketed into Web3, and she's just not happy that she's not getting her foot in the door effectively into a Web3 company. And I just reassured her to say that there's a lot of people that would love to be in her shoes in the Web3 space, because she has a very good paying job. And so again, there's a lot of good people looking for work at the moment, and just the volume of roles have significantly decreased. I remember being on a podcast a few weeks back saying that the volume of roles have decreased by about 75% since the bull market. I would go as far to say now that it's probably about 85% decrease in roles at the moment. The blockchain headhunter agency is very lucky that we have one or two live clients still hiring, keeping the show on the road. But there's a significant drop off in the number of roles out there within the Web3 space at the moment. There is think there's, but yeah, there's I suppose there's still a good demand for fractional advice as well.
Right.
You know,
I just before
not for there's some projects as well that are coming to me as well saying, listen, we can't really afford to pay someone right now, but would someone be able to take an equity play, for example? So there's 2 clients that I'm working with at the moment that are looking for developers. They can't really afford to pay them. So they'll pay me in tokens, because I know, for example, when they go to a VC round, they'll earn significantly. That I believe in their projects long term, and happy days. Then I'm happy to help them out. But there's just not a lot of paying employee opportunities out there at the moment. But if you're a good developer or even strong business development professional, you're absolutely fine. And so. Product you mentioned specifically is really struggling. And I have one product role at the moment, that I'm working on, but it's one area that was the first to really collapse in blockchain during the bear market. I think that the demand for product is kind of a funny one, because when teams are rapidly scaling growing their teams too quickly, I think they realize, yes, we need product professionals to help. But when it came then to preserving runway, no, they quickly rescinded. In a lot of instances,
And Owen, just before meeting you, I saw someone did a post on LinkedIn that how much that they just saw some stats where majority of people from Web3 have moved to an AI space after ChatGPT came alive. So it was interesting to just read that the heading of that post. So it's very much resonating with what you just said, that the roles have been reduced recently. Did I hear there are fewer opportunities now? Considering all the macroeconomics and going on around the world, but definitely will improve in the near future, because that's the future, community-driven web. Right.
No, like a lot of these Web3 people, a lot of kind of pseudo Web3 experts have moved across to AI, and they're more than welcome to them. So like where there's money, there's bullshit, unfortunately, and thankfully that bullshit is now moving over to AI where the money is now.
Right. Interesting. So it's absolutely. That's it's good to hear the perspectives, obviously. And Owen, so
I'm looking at LinkedIn for day in, day out, obviously, and you'll read a lot about someone from their tagline, and automatically now there's people that would have been solely all in Web3. Now they're also claiming to be AI experts as well overnight. So
definitely interesting. So me into product space from the last 2.5 years, I was exploring Web3, metaverse, crypto as well. I got really good experience trading cryptocurrencies. I did my own technical analysis, and I'm being an autodidact. So I'm a person who take my own actions, and I go and execute that task when I'm solely into it, and if something gains my interest. So I started exploring this space, NFT, metaverse, and being a really ambitious person. And I love technology so much, and especially this technology, which is going to it's going to transform the way we work as well. Of course, our lives in a certain way, being from the digitalization point of view as well. Now, because this space was so lucrative and exciting, and it's a place for really creative technologists, enthusiasts. So I started looking for roles and how can I get into this space. And every time my CV got rejected, my current employer shouldn't know about it, but I did try to to get into this space because I felt that this is something I would really love to do. This is ambitious. This is exciting and creative. Every time my CV got rejected, I felt very disappointed, but I was questioning myself that what is the issue out there, what I'm not mentioning, what companies want to see in my CV. For example, Binance or Coinbase, what they would like to see in the CV of a product person who is applying for these roles as a product manager into crypto, product managers, NFT, Web3. So is blockchain headhunters also providing consulting to the candidates? And some
yes, so listen, like a lot of the calls, like I do about, I would say about 5 or 6 calls that I know that have no immediate commercial benefit to me, helping people get into Web3. And oftentimes, like you mentioned, kind of you're looking to get into Web3, great. And then you mentioned that you've applied for the likes of Coinbase and Binance. The resume that you're creating for Binance or Coinbase probably should be a lot different to the resume that you're applying for with a Web3 startup. Make sure the one for Binance and Coinbase is obviously ATS compatible, which will look a bit boring, but
yeah, okay.
the one that you're creating for the Web3 founders then should be show your creative flair a lot more as well. And then I suppose my journey in Web3 really kind of like my profile and my success has really accelerated, I think, over the last 8 months, and I attribute an awful lot of that down to my content strategy. So I would maybe recommend you to kind of look at your content and your and on LinkedIn as almost like an investment, and in doing so you're positioning yourself to be a recognized and heard Web3 product professional and network hustle on LinkedIn, and do some pro bono work as well. Join a DAO that you really enjoy, one that you're inherently passionate about. I can send you over a few names after the call. I just of what to do or who to reach out to with respect to maybe internship opportunities, and yeah, maybe just reach out to a few CPOs at leading projects. And if you reach out to about 20 or 30 of them, I can guarantee you that about 3 of them will reply, and just ask them for some advice, get in a call, mentor them, and they'll appreciate that, and they will keep an eye out for you, I think, when other opportunities come out. But obviously be testing yourself as well, and yeah, just show genuine proof of interest. The University of Nicosia course is obviously starting next week. Let's get on that. And yeah, no, it's fascinating. I find the technical product space in general, because I do feel for technical product professionals working in Web3, because like they can often be confined by the ecosystem that they're working in, I suppose, in many respects. So keep hustling, really. There's no secret formula other than time and persistence.
Yes, absolutely. And also, so as I was getting really curious about that and did some certifications and trainings with Blockchain Council.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did put that in my CV as well, and I tried to explain more on my last 2 years of journey into digital.
Again, we're in a bear market at the moment.
That's the reason.
I suppose it's probably not your fault to a large degree as well. A lot of these Web3 projects that are willing to spend on a product manager at the moment is they're very myopic in terms of what they're looking for, and there's a severe underappreciation of Web2 talent in Web3. I don't understand it really myself. Yes, there is nuances, but they're grossly overemphasized, and the volume of roles are obviously considerably lessened.
Right.
Yeah, the candidates that should be applying for $100,000 role would be getting offers significantly higher this time last year, maybe even double what they were than last year. So again, the talent pool is just a lot larger. Okay. Competition is much more fiercer, and just find a project that you really like. Maybe look at a project that could do with some pro bono support, and they'd love to have your help. Look at it as a 6-month investment. Do a couple of hours per week with said project, and you'll be fine then. I think a lot of these projects just don't appreciate Web2 talent.
Yeah.
Dare I say it?
Right.
That's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's just ignorance, really, in that instance.
And I do see from my own search on LinkedIn, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I do see that there are very few product managers out there who are working on wallets or in this.
So,
So there.
if I can ask, what interests you? Like, forget about blockchain tech for a minute. What interests you as an individual? Anyway.
What interests me into the space?
Yeah, like, what are you interested in?
Yes, the main interesting is that everything about digitalization and advancement of the digitalization and that innovation that's happening, the challenge that's bringing when it comes to developing these exciting products, where we have to innovate them from the scratch, where there are no traditional ways available. So for me, the traditional way of working right now, or the established way of working, or into tech space, into several industries which are already functioning, and we have so much of data out there that it's easier to so for example, in a product role, I can just if I'm applying for a new role into say e-commerce, I can try and find a lot of information which can help me get into my new role. And I can talk to a lot of people who can help me with their understanding of how a product role works in e-commerce. So that information is already there. The best practices are already there right now. But this new space makes it so exciting because everything has to happen from the scratch, from a very new perspective, from a new mindset. So that's what literally excites me so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, Web3 is going to touch every industry and everything. And there's some product out there, some are working on absolutely everything. Like, so again, find a product that really interests you. Even if it was a Web2 product, for example, and reach out to them and see, like, how can I help you potentially, and these are my skills, I'm willing to help, and treat it as a 6-month investment, and then you'll be fine, and then you'll be well on your way to becoming a Web3 specialist in the product space. Again, someone on one of my the guest on my LinkedIn AMA yesterday said, if you start today, you'll become a recognized specialist within 2 years within the industry, because things are so constantly changing. So just finding that startup project, doing that bit of pro bono consulting, and you'll be absolutely fine. And, like, for example, one thing that might help you maybe filter projects is have a look at projects that are kind of after doing angel rounds or have a small bit of VC funding that might not be able to justify a full-time product professional, but at the same time could do with your help and support. And who knows, that project could really scale massively over the next couple of years. And yeah, like, for example, I was lucky enough to help someone become a millionaire.
Wow.
Well.
And was it a millionaire in Web3 or crypto?
Yeah. Okay. It was a Web3 project. The salary was it was a high salaried role, but during the bull market, the token options at the height of the bull market would have been worth or over 2 million, about 2.2 million. The token options, no, they'd be significantly less then, but for a small fleeting period of time, that person's options were in the 7 figures.
Right. Interesting.
But that's like, you have to explore every single opportunity in Web3. Like, just some startups are better than others, and you kind of have to. Well, you say don't trust, verify. Sometimes you just have to go with your gut as well.
Right.
But reach out to the founder and see what they're like.